Hey, hello. Can y'all see me? Hello. Hey, San Francis, how you doing? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Okay. How y'all doing? Are y'all having a wonderful day here on this wonderful, cool Saturday? Okay. Well, I decided to go live today, just for a brief moment, not too long. Hi, Royalty Rain, beautiful. How you doing? It is a wonderful day. It's amazing how the weather was just bad a few days ago, and then all of a sudden it is just like nothing in the sky and stuff. Well, I decided to go live today. It has been really hectic the past couple weeks, y'all. It has really been hectic. Um, Catching up with work, catching up with school, catching up with everything. And when I say I have been an overload, I have truly been an overload. I mean, really been an overload. It has been a hectic few weeks. It really has. But amongst all that, I have been on daughter duties as well. Um, y'all, you don't realize how much you have or what you have until you have drastic things that actually put things in the path of a lot of things. Hey, Miss Coleman, how you doing, love? Until you have things that actually put things in the path of making you realize what you do have and stuff and everything. And I learned a lot about my family history. Hey, Dream Seeker Love, how you doing? How you doing, beautiful? About my family history. I really did. I got to learn a lot about my family history. Sweet and hot savory. How you doing, beautiful? I really did. I got to learn a lot about my family history. Uh, about maybe about 3 weeks ago, I buried my aunt, and um, I didn't realize the accomplishments that she actually did. Child of God, how you doing, beautiful? Um, she accomplished a lot. I didn't realize. Oh, can y'all hear me now? That's because I had the speakerphone covered up. Can y'all hear me now? Are y'all good? Okay, I'm sorry. I had the speakerphone covered up. Um, she actually they actually named a day after her. I didn't realize how big of a name she was, and that made me do a lot of research. I spent a lot of time researching, me and my cousin, and we was talking back and forth, and she actually did a lot of things. And my dad, he told me a lot of things that I didn't know, a lot of history I didn't know, a lot of history that I did know, a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, that's, how you hear stories when you're growing up, and like you say, okay, those are like folk tales that you hear and stuff and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is just something you tell the kids when you're growing up. And just to hear those stories again when all the aunts and the uncles came together and they was telling those same stories again, and I'm like, wow, really? So those wasn't just kid stories that you tell the kids and stuff and everything. And that was like a big huge accomplishment. But And I actually literally took the time out to actually do a lot of digging and research all the way back to Buena Vista, Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, Macon, all the way back down that way, where my family is and stuff and everything. Douglas, down that way where all my family is. Did a lot of research and stuff and came up with a lot of things and stuff. And we supposed to well, with the committee, and it has been, yeah, I love family history and stuff and everything, but the only thing I don't like about family history is like when the family history is broken, and it it's spread out, and many of the people that passed away with the history has taken a lot of it with them. But unfortunately, on my dad's side of the family, much of that is still left because the history passed on from matriarch to matriarch, and the matriarch carries that history with them. So when my aunt passed away, she was the matriarch, so she passed that history on to the new matriarch. So she had all that history with her. And that was the great thing about that, because each matriarch passed on that history from matriarch to matriarch. And it was never like that on my mom's side. And even on my granddad's side, on my mom's side, a lot of that history is broken, and it was kind of hard to research a lot of that history. So we had like a lot of broken history there, but the history it was well documented on my dad's side. It was very well documented on my dad's side. And it was a great thing to know that that history was actually documented. And it was like going through the history books on a lot of things, and I actually enjoyed that, to sit down and with my cousins and them. And when we was going through setting back up the committee and setting back up everything, which actually sit on the family committee board, that was like a really wonderful thing to be a part of. Putting back the family reunion and stuff, and getting that together. I was been I past couple weeks I've been taking care of my dad, uh, because of his sickness and stuff. And a lot of people don't know, because he had cancer. He was in remission, and his cancer is back. So I yeah, Nightbot is a trip. And so I've been, making sure I'm taking care of all that, make, because every day is always a door to do list and stuff, and making sure that is getting taken care of with him. So I'm like, okay, I can do this, but outside of all that, it's just been like really, 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 really busy, you know. And then on top of it is breast cancer awareness month. So it's been really busy with that, which we actually have a event, a big, huge event. I think I'm gonna go live on that. Coming up with the baskets that we put together. We put together over 1,000 baskets, which is really, really great. The sponsorship that we had with the money that came in from different organizations out and around, and in the community that came in, we tripled the amount of money that was actually raised, that came in for that, that we did last year for the Chisholm Foundation. That was really, really awesome. Wednesday, Weight Watchers, how you doing, beautiful? Hello. So with that going on, we actually, and it's gonna be really big Wednesday. Hi, little brother, how you doing? That's gonna be really awesome. I am so excited about that come Wednesday. I am so excited about that, because we actually have the motorcycle escort that is coming in. And I believe I'm going to go live and actually go live on that, because that is something that is really, really near and dear to me. When it comes to Bell May, how you doing, beautiful? That is something that is really near and dear to my heart when it comes to the breast cancer awareness month. Because my grandmother on my mom's side, she's a breast cancer survivor. She had double mastectomy, and stuff and everything. I go every 6 months for the lump that was found on my right side of my breast, and they monitor that, and I've been going for the past year and a half now, which is still the same size, so that is great. Um, and that has been very near and dear to me. So with the Chisholm Foundation, I really like that because we have sponsored a lot of families during that breast cancer awareness. So that is something that we have been doing now. I want to say about the past 3 years now and stuff. When we have had a lot of people, and it has grown. It has really, 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 really grown. I am so proud of my sister and her foundation that her and her husband created, and it was really, really a blessing, for her to actually come to me and ask me, did I want to be a part of that. Lady T, how you doing, beautiful? That was really a blessing for her to come to me and ask me, did I want to be a part of that foundation? And immediately I was like, yes, and stuff and everything. And then we do have the Thanksgiving coming up, and we got those baskets, which my husband went out yesterday to price those turkeys for those families that's coming up. So we do have a lot of things that's going on here in our community. But one of the biggest things that's getting ready to come up, y'all, and y'all know, which is the elections. And that is something that is also that's going to be an impact not only for me, but for a lot of people. And that is something that everybody needs to get out there and do, and that's a vote, because it impacts everybody. Don't just sit around and talk about it after the fact, because everybody vote count. People say that if we don't vote, it doesn't matter. Actually, your vote do count. Your vote is your voice. By not voting, your voice is not heard. And we are at a time in life where no one should have the option to be silent. And what we have going on, and I tell you, with the atrocity that I have seen, and I don't really watch the news. Mind your business. How you doing? Um, with the atrocity that I have seen going on, and one of the main atrocities that I've seen, and I don't really like to get into politics because we all know that we have our own opinions when it comes to politics, is this Kanye West. And I know everybody is blowing this mess up and stuff and everything, but one thing for sure and two things for certain is that is no one he is no one to be speaking for anyone. Period, point blank. And I'm sorry, but mental illness is real. Mental illness is so real that people don't even realize how real mental illness is. And for that guy to have been sitting there, first and foremost, you can't sit and say, one, let's talk about some of the things. Well, let's talk about two of the things. I'm not going to even address everything because it was two things that stood out to me when it came to him, when we sitting here talking about voting and stuff and everything. That's one of the main things why I say voting it's real. And to get out there and vote, regardless of what's going on, get out there and vote. The two things that stood out to me when it came to Kanye West, right? The jobs in China. First and foremost, before we sit here and talk about bringing jobs in China back, know what you're wearing. Know what you're wearing. This guy, it's chilly out here, y'all. It's actually cold. Know what you're wearing. You got on a hat that says "Make America Great," but yet it's still, you don't even know whether that hat was made in the U.S. or in China. That's question number one. But you want to talk about bring jobs back here to the U.S. that's over in China. But you wearing a hat that says "Make America Great." That was made in China. Hmm. I digress on that one. But I'm going to leave that one alone. And then secondly, the second thing that brought to my attention that really that and and I'll tell anybody, don't take what I'm finna say as Miss Classy as Ray. I'm far from that, very far from that. But it's just some of the things that he said that stood out to me, and one of the things that stood out to me, and I really had to sit here and do this, that stood out to me, that his comment, people that can't own land settle for brand. And then he go on to say, people I've been asking my local place, but they giving me run around trying to do absentee ballots. Don't let them give you the run around on that. Please don't. People don't know what it feels like to have ownership of their own blocks. That's a very bold statement for him to have made for everyone to hear. That was he was very bold when he sat there and said that. And and the reference was to the black people. You know, don't know what it feel like to have ownership of their own blocks. And so when he made that comment, me and my husband, my brother-in-law, and some more of my friends, we was in a debate about this, and it wasn't a disagreement debate. We was actually in a debate about me, him, and the comment that he made. And I had to really educate on a lot of things, what he may not know. Cause first, for him to make a statement like that, obviously he must not know about the people that did own land and the people that actually owned towns that were pushed out of their towns, the massacres that actually took place, the lands that were stolen. Obviously, he didn't know about Rosewood. Obviously, he didn't know about Fannie Taylor, who caused the big, huge massacre of Rosewood. Obviously, he didn't know about that. Where she would have sexual intercourse with a man when her husband was going to work. Obviously, he didn't know about that. And then, for whatever reason, she got into it with the man, and the man beat her butt. And she had to cover up her bruises by blaming a black man. And from there, that's when the all-out massacre took place, killing innocent black people. And that land, they lost their land because they ran for their life. And across that track that separated Rosewood, on the opposite side of that track, was called what? Gainesville. So obviously he didn't know his history. Because if he did, he wouldn't have sat his dumb butt up there in that White House and said what he said. So obviously he didn't know that. And see, that's the problem with him. He have a tendency to run off at his mouth, and he don't know his history. Because if he did, he wouldn't have said what he said. Obviously, he don't know about Black Wall Street. That is not, and I'm going to repeat, that is not, hey, Pam M., how are you doing? Obviously, he do not know about Black Wall Street. I'm going to teach him something. He don't know about this. Because if he did, he wouldn't have sat his dumb butt up there in that White House and said what he said. That is not registered nowhere in the National Registry of Historic Places, nor is being taught nowhere in Tulsa, Oklahoma schools. Because 97 years ago, Greenwood was the Wakanda before the Wakanda. Just a little history that he don't know about. called downtown Toulouse. Homes and businesses was burned to a heap of ashes. Blacks was killed, shot dead in their front yards. Planes dropped bombs on buildings. Machine guns fired bullets at churches. That the district is no longer on no national registry of historic places. And there is no major movie depicting any of the events that took place. But yet and still, he sat his butt up in that White House and he had the audacity to say, people that can't own land settle for brand. And people don't know what it feels like to have ownership of their own blocks. There is black-owned towns in North Carolina and Virginia that obviously he must not know about. That was stolen from them. Not taken, not bought, not traded, but stolen. But these people put all their resources together to create these businesses, to create these homes, to create these towns. But he sat his butt in that White House and he made comments like that. See, it's the ignorancy of these people that want to be heard, that don't research their facts. But Greenwood, the Wakanda before the Wakanda, will never be taught in no schools. It would never be written in no school books. There would never be a book. There would never be a movie. And it would never be talked about. And that's the problem. But you got him who feel he's the speaker for who? Sure ain't me. And I hope it ain't for you. That's a problem. But see, it's another problem because we got Orange Head up there who laugh at things like that. And he don't mind having somebody like Kanye that'll sit there and talk. And all the while he thinking in the back of his mind that if he talk like that, we're all as ignorant as him. Honestly, none of our history is taught in our schools. And you're absolutely right. None of our history is taught in our schools. But I can actually say this. And I believe it was 1993 when